All right, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Friday night. It is the Earthmaster out here, 10:36 p.m. California time. January 10th, 2025 is the date. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a little small microquake hiding out there in the green flag. It looks like the California area, a little 0.6. So what do we got here going on for the West Coast? Things starting to light up out here. Of course, watching some movement outside the Bay Area, right on the San Andreas Fault here. A couple more earthquakes in the sequence of activity that began early this morning with a 3.6. As always, this could be leading to something bigger. Definitely got to watch out here. Potentially there is enough strain here across the northern end to produce a significant earthquake. Now, whether there's enough for a 7.9 like they had back in 1906, who knows? But the central segment, southern segment there, has got quite a few years of accumulated slip rate as well. So anywhere out here across California could be seeing some larger movement soon. 3.3 off the coast here of Northern California, back along the plate boundary, the Gorda Plate and the Pacific Plate boundary. Let's go check out tremor activity here real quick tonight. See what we have for Cascadia tremor, which is roughly about 6 epicenters here. Really nothing big, but a little bit of increasing movement. It seems like here recently, ever since that 7-pointer here in Northern California a few weeks back, any kind of tremor activity that we have here elevates the earthquake activity across this region. That tells me right there that things are fairly well built up and strain, maximum strain potential out here, I feel. And this could very well be an area anywhere across the plate boundary here. Could very well be an area for our 8.1 that we're expecting. Now, just on average here, I want to show you guys real quick. I show this a lot, but everyone's asking me, how come I'm saying there's an 8.0 coming? Well, if you think about it here, our last 8-pointer was back in 2021. So 4 years ago here. This is the number of earthquakes occurring around the globe each year on average. We should have had at least one 8-pointer by now. If not every year, maybe every other year, but not 4 years here. So things are building up potentially to something much bigger. I went ahead and pulled up the last, let's see, let's see what we got here. I went 1960 to 2025. Magnitude 6.5 and above, since records have been kept out here. So I want to show you guys the, if I can get through this, the 8.0, lack of 8.0 here, and look at prior years. Now, our last 8-pointer, we have to go back to the year 2021, and that's a considerable time here if you really think about it, in terms of that type of magnitude and the averages. If it's every year, wouldn't it make sense to have every other year? Not 4 years. So something is brewing out here. Again, our last 8-pointer was back right here, South Sandwich Islands, August 12, 2021. But that was a year of 3 8-pointers. In fact, we had an 8.2 in Alaska and also an 8.1 there across the Kermadec Islands. So does that potentially offset the average for the years? Potentially. But I don't know about 4 years here. And then prior to that, prior to 2021, our last 8-pointer, that's pretty close, 7.8, but that really doesn't qualify for an 8-pointer. Back in 2020, it was, looks like there was at least 2 years here in between 2021 and 7.9. Would that really count? 2018, pretty close to an 8-pointer. If we were to count that, that would count about a 2-3 year difference there between that 8-pointer. 8.2, 2018. That's Fiji. There's another 7.9. 8.2, 2017. Hopefully I'm not skipping over any. 2016 should be the next year for the 8-pointer sequence. Well, 2015 there. There's an 8.3 2015. But it seems like if it's not every year, it's every other year. And you go back, in 2015 here, we'll find our next one. So 2015 to 2000, that's pretty close, 7.9, 2014. 2014, 8.2. But the averages here it should be at least one a year every other year. And there's obviously that concern that that may be leading up to something even bigger than an 8-pointer out here. Our last 9-pointer, 2011. And, since 1960, we've seen 4 of them. Now, obviously, they don't occur as regular as 8-pointers or 7-pointers, obviously, but they can pop up. And our last one, again, was back in 2011, the great Japan earthquake out there. There's a 9.5 back in Chile, 1960, the largest earthquake ever recorded in that area. Or, well, in the world, I should say. So continue to watch the West Coast activity here. Things lighten up across the entire region. It's not just across one specific area. The whole West Coast has been showing some elevated activity out here. Los Angeles, 2.1. That earthquake kicking off early this morning. No major swarming out here across the San Andreas Fault for now, but again, keep an eye on it. When the Pacific Plate moves, it normally moves elsewhere as well. 5-pointer into the Guatemala area. Well, actually, southern Mexico, it looks like. About 1933 for that 5-pointer. A short time later, 20 minutes later, we had some adjustment up north here for that 3.3. So things, they move accordingly. Plate tectonics don't care about distance, because really, you're thinking about a massive chunk of land here. To us little ants here, the little Earth or Earthlings, that may seem like a big distance here, but when these plates move around, it's nothing to have adjustment thousands of miles away. So keep an eye here on the West Coast. Australia's seen some activity as well, 4.9. That's actually a decent magnitude for this area. Not really certain about population density out here. It doesn't look like it's around any type of major area, but not too often do we get that type of magnitudes down there. The historical data here shows a handful of quakes out here historically, but again, not all that common. Down across New Zealand area, looks like a 3.2, really nothing major going on there. Some aftershock activity there on the earthquake 3D globe from that 4.9. Typical movement here across the Philippines southward. Nothing going on here across Japan for now. The Aleutian Trench pretty quiet as well, but I definitely want to watch things out here across California. Super deep earthquake there. That 5-pointer earlier this evening looks like 125 miles deep here into the Middle America Trench. Following that event, looks like some other adjustment going on around that region. Pretty active. Keep an eye on this overall area here. South America, fairly minimal with some 2s and 3s down there. Let's take a look here at the rest of the states. See if there's anything else going on here. Pacific Northwest, relatively quiet. Yellowstone, really nothing showing up there. But I better double check here. Let's see what's going on here real quick. Not a whole lot. Looks like some wind out there on the darker blue readings. Oil fields of Texas still getting hit. One earthquake out in the New Madrid seismic zone from early this morning. That's going to be a little 2.4. Eastern portion of the country, pretty quiet out there. Now on the big island of Hawaii, we're getting a little swarming offshore here, it looks like. Some 3s and a couple 2s in there as well. Throughout the early afternoon time period, fairly shallow earthquake activity. That could have something to do here with the weight of the Hawaii Islands here across the hotspot region of the Pacific Plate. Adding some crustal quakes out there. Kilauea Volcano, fairly quiet, although things are starting to kick back up out here in terms of inflation. Let me show you guys the deformation data there across Kilauea Volcano. Going up. We have been going up since the pause in the eruption back on the 3rd or 4th time period of this month. Not a significant amount, but pretty steady. That tells us right there that things are building back up there across the summit area. Could see a return of the eruption across the area. I mean, very possible. Obviously, some heated areas down below. Accumulated magma below the area. It's going to produce probably some further eruption activity here fairly soon, I feel. May even happen tonight. There's not a whole lot of earthquake activity happening, but it's pretty close, I feel. We'll bring up the seismograph station. They're pretty quiet for earthquake activity, but we'll see what happens here. Let's get back. Man, I'm just not doing good as far as sickness goes. It's been a never-ending winter of being sick. It's crazy. Worldwide activity for the rest of the region. Mediterranean's got some 2s and 3s out there. Some further activity there across the Ethiopia rift boundary. A little uncertain on to what's going to happen out there. Obviously, it's a major rift boundary, and there's going to be earthquake activity, and could be volcanic activity following that slow separation out there. Let me see what we got for the latest seismograph station there in that region. See if we got anything major happening out there. There's that the latest earthquake. I believe that was the 5-pointer that came in, 5.2 earlier this afternoon. A couple other 4s in there as well, maybe some smaller quakes. Again, hard to say exactly what's going to take place here. It may just continue for a little bit and dwindle away. But that's all up in the air at the moment. The Atlantic Ocean pretty quiet. Not a whole lot happening there. All right, space weather activity. Fairly quiet as expected. Not looking at any major areas of concern. This newer sunspot here is taking a turn for the getting a pretty good separation here of the core. That means that really not a whole lot of flaring expected from that region. Back over here as well. And then if you look across the rest of the sun, well, there's really not a whole lot of flaring potential from any of the sunspots. So sea flare activity, might see some of that, but overall flare threat pretty low. Solar ham has 10%, M-flare at 45. No major roars there in the forecast for now, folks. As far as storm prediction center goes and severe weather department, not a whole lot expected. If we put the model run here into motion, we'll see that cold air is continuing to dip down into a good portion of the country, everywhere except California, where it's not good. Some snow out here as we head into next weekend. And after that, well, that's kind of, hopefully this is good. Of course, that's a ways out. It'd be nice if we got some rainfall out there around the 21st. Have to watch that. Yeah, maybe. Looks like some of the models are trending wetter out here across California, and I'm okay with that. We do have some, unfortunately, more wind activity coming into Southern California here Monday. Let me show you guys real quick the wind gusts expected out here, and then we'll take a look at the fires for the Southern California region. Here's the current wind gust. Not a whole lot going on. Tomorrow, offshore wind events, pretty amplified. It's not until, looks like maybe on Monday, things start to kick up there inland across the area of some of those fire regions. Sunday, here's Monday's. Some more offshore wind events there. So hopefully they get this under control. Either way, I think there's been actually another new fire that sparked up out of the blue down here. Let's see what we got here for California. Eaton fire is a big one burning up here in the mountains above the Pasadena area. There's the satellite hotspots out here. Still showing some active areas up north burning up high into the elevation. 3% containment with that fire. That's done quite a bit of damage. This area back here, unfortunately, That's showing some further hotspot activity here in the last couple hours, it looks like. That is probably burning areas that the fire originally missed and starting to backburn into the areas unburned. That's at 21,000 acres here. The Palisades fire claimed quite a few homes out here. Very active across the north region here, heading up in the mountains. And back over here as well. Fairly significant hotspot there showing up on the satellite image here across this area. And this is another community that looks like it's getting hit, unfortunately. That's an Eaton fire. If we bring up, I wonder if we can see anything on this camera. Hard to tell if those are fires or lights out there, but the satellite imagery, heat detection is definitely showing some further hot spots out there, unfortunately. This has a potential to obviously burn further west and north here into the higher terrain. Kenneth fire. It's hard to say Kenneth when I got my nose plugged. Goodness. That 50% containment there. Here's the Hearst fire. That looks like it's almost out. 70% containment. Lydia fire is out. 98% containment. Is this a new one here? The Anchor fire. Forward progress stop. That is good. Some hot spots, though, picking up here, it looks like, for some reason. So, even though the winds might be somewhat calmish, there's a potential of these kicking back up here over the next couple days. So these guys have massive amounts of manpower headed down there from various counties and various states, all jumping in to fight these fires. So hopefully they get containment here on the majority of these very soon. All right. That's all I got here in my voice, folks. So I'm going to call it a night. Hopefully this is gone by tomorrow, but I don't know if it will be. Have a good day. Good night. And stay safe out there. We'll catch you guys back out here tomorrow. Little small earthquake on the Petrolia station. Let's see. Is it showing up? Nope. Negative. But that's nothing new. We've been watching a lot of earthquake activity showing up there, and the smaller quakes, they just don't get reported for some reason around that area. All right, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Have a good night.